I'm James Barfield with your Urban Connection. And remember, this is the channel that is often imitated, but is never duplicated. Now, I want to start this show off with a little personal message. I want you all to realize that there are a lot of unsubstantiated rumors being shared and passed around by numerous podcasters and others regarding the death of one Tyre Nichols. Now, I want to tell you up front that I'm not going to have any part of spreading nor sharing any of those rumors. Because as long as there are rumors, as far as I'm concerned, they are non-stories. And basically all the rumors that I've heard have either started with or ended with somebody heard. Somebody heard. My uncle heard. My friend heard. I have an ex-police officer in another city or state heard. That is not evidence. There is no proof. And it has been unsubstantiated by any authority in this matter. So I'm not going to be engaging in any of that. I have too much integrity and credibility to put it all on the line by sharing something that I cannot confirm nor back up. In the first place, in my opinion, it is disrespectful to the deceased and the family of the deceased to start spreading unsubstantiated, mostly false rumors before this man has even been laid to rest. I want any part of it. Now, with that having been said, I want to focus on a couple of other aspects. During the course of this investigation, you have heard two words over and over. One is training, and the other is culture. And I want to touch on both of those tonight, today, whatever. Now, let's first of all deal with the training. A lot of people are talking about training. And if you know, I said in the first video that I did regarding this matter, that these guys have been trained. They don't need any additional training. They know what the training consisted of. As a matter of fact, one of these guys was just given an award not very long ago for having completed 40 hours of crisis prevention, okay? And yet he's involved in this death. Now, so they don't need any training. And I've said before, not on this show, but I've said on various advisory boards that I've been on, that a rogue officer doesn't listen nor care about the training he's received once he's out there on the streets and he doesn't have a supervisor or anybody else that can contain him from his desire to do things his way, to take the law into his own hands. So training is not the answer. You know what I've always said? Hiring plays a bigger role than training. It starts with the hiring process. You must know who you are hiring. You must do thorough background checks. And part of that background check includes asking the question. And if this is somebody that's applying for a job, at your law enforcement department, you have every right to ask, are you now, or have you ever been a member of a hate group, a white supremacy group, or anything of the sort? And you have a right to expect an honest answer. And you have a right to give a lie detector test to any applicant for a position in your law enforcement agency. Now, so training, take that completely off the table. These guys are trained. It is about, are you hiring the right person? And I'll just tell you another thing. I think at this date, this time, another question, well, not a question, but I think any candidate for law enforcement should submit to a mental health test. Let's find out what state of mind these guys are in. You have to be very careful these days, ladies and gentlemen. And if you're hiring someone to go out and represent your city and take an oath to serve and protect, then you have a right to find out about who the hell it is you're hiring. Now, I want to talk a little bit about culture. And when I talk about culture, I want to talk specifically about police departments. This is not just related to the Memphis Police Department, but police departments in general. And in particular, I want to talk about officer number 6, Officer Preston Hemphill, I believe his name is, who was suspended. Now, this is the white officer, who was the one that was seen in the first video yanking Mr. Nichols out of the car, never having asked to see his driver's license, nor his insurance, nor his registration. I don't even recall him even asking his name. But this officer yanked Mr. Nichols out of the car. Mr. Nichols was offering no, as far as I can see, no resistance, as far as I could tell from that video. But then he was immediately pepper sprayed. Now, this officer was quoted on the videotape after Mr. Nichols had run as saying that he hoped they would stomp his ass. Now, what he didn't say, but what clearly had to be on his mind, are the following words: as I would do if I had him in my possession. Now, this gets to police culture. Now, when I say culture, I want to make this perfectly clear. It certainly enters my mind that this was the culture of either the Memphis Police Department as a whole. If not that, certainly it was the culture of the Scorpion Squad, if you want to call them that. But you see, this is his attitude. Now, his attitude is not to apprehend an individual. This culture that he's talking about, or as I'm speaking to, is to punish an individual. This is not the way they were trained, I can guarantee you. But it's a culture that they develop amongst themselves once they get on the force. And I will tell you that it's true in most large, and when I say large, I'm talking maybe 25 or more officers in a department. It's true in most instances across the country. And this is where the problem lies. And this is where we need not training, but we need to be hiring officers that clearly are entering the profession to do two things: serve and protect, not punish, not beat the hell out of, not engage in excessive force, not beat and maim and kill unarmed, in particular, individuals. That is not your job. Now, the second thing is that these officers and all these police departments, actually every one, should have a policy in place that officers are required to intervene when they are in the presence of an out of control, an overly angered, or a rogue cop. As was done in this particular case, some of these officers are being charged with failure to intervene. That should be a policy of every police department in the country. You see a cop that is doing things that you know are not part of the department's policy, are not part of any training, not any part of any handbook, you have a duty and a responsibility to intervene. But this, all too often, is the problem we have. It's part of our culture, the code of silence among the men in blue. Okay? So now we have a situation here where some of these officers, I almost guarantee some of these officers are going to be convicted of the charge, and I think it's a felony, I'm not sure, but they're going to be convicted of failure to intervene, just like you had in Minneapolis. You had some officers there. They clearly were in a position to intervene and stop Derek Chauvin from squeezing and choking the life out of this man with his knee on the man's neck. They refused to do so. And now they have been charged. I'm sure that it was a felony, but they've been charged and convicted of a failure to intervene. So this is a part of what we should have in every department here. Now, the situation in Memphis also finds itself now with 3 members of the fire department who've been fired for not doing what they were trained to do. They were trained to assess the situation once they arrived on the scene of an emergency. They are required not to take the word of an officer to do their own self-assessment. And in this case, they didn't do it. They asked the officers, what was the situation? And the officers said, well, he's been pepper sprayed. One look at this man could tell this man had suffered some type of beating or a rough fall, something. This man was bruised, battered, and that does not come from pepper spray. But yet they took it as such and did not give the man the proper treatment that he was entitled to. Now, am I in a position to say this was the cause of his death? No. But did he contribute to it? It's very likely. So there again, we have to have people Everybody that's involved has a job to do, and all of them have been trained how to do their job. And in this particular case, none of them did. So now we have a sixth man who clearly is a rogue cop, and he was a member of this group. And we also now have a seventh member who is yet unnamed, and we don't know what part he played, but he's been suspended. And we don't know what race he is. However, one has to question, how is it that 5 men have been charged with murder and 1 man who was involved, not necessarily in the kicking and the beating, but he certainly was involved in the situation from the very beginning? How is he just suspended and he's not fired, when he is clearly heard on video saying, "I hope they stomp his ass"? How can that not be interpreted as, that's what I would do? And if you make that kind of a statement on video, I'm going to take you at your word. And if I'm the chief of police, I'm going to fire your ass, because I believe that's exactly what you would do. And with you having that kind of an attitude, that kind of mentality, there's no place on my department or police force for you nor anyone else like you. So let's deal with an even hand. Let's make the playing field level here. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. Any and everybody that played a part, had any part in that, and this guy clearly had a part. What you saw with him yanking that guy out of the vehicle without ever asking for a driver's license or an insurance card or just yanking the guy out and immediately pepper spraying him when the guy's offering no resistance, there's no threat, that guy's out of control. And that guy should not be a part of the Memphis police force nor any other force. Let him go to work punching a clock somewhere. Let him go get a job at pumping gas or something, you know? But he's not going to be on my police department. So I just wanted to do a quick show, ladies and gentlemen. I just really wanted to focus on those 3 aspects. The rumors, come on, guys, you're better than this. I mean, if the rumors are true, that'll come out. I mean, I know you want to be the first to go on YouTube with your channel and get this unsubstantiated information out. Well, it's not a story yet. It might be a story tomorrow, next week, but it's not a story as long as you cannot substantiate it. And it's all based on hearsay. If that's the best you can do, hold it. Hold it for a few days. And if it's true, it'll come to light. I guarantee you. So have a little bit of credibility, show some integrity, but most of all, show some respect for the victim and for the family of the victim. At least give them time to grieve. And they certainly haven't grieved when their family member, their son, their brother, their uncle, whatever, has not even been laid to rest yet. And you guys are rushing out there to get a gossip. That's what it is, just gossip. It's not a story. An unsubstantiated rumor that you're spreading around is nothing more than gossip. So you can do better. I'm counting on you, folks. You'll have more credibility with the audience to your channel if you show some integrity and resist the temptation to spread rumors. Okay. Okay, that's the show. Thank you for watching. I'm out.